I came back into pre-season at 93 kilos, so I dropped 10 kilos in the off season. So I feel that's probably part of the reason why I'm feeling pretty good. I'm running around a lot better than what I was before. So I think I've dropped the weights and concentrated a bit more on rugby, which is probably the sensible decision.
Boys, let's move on. We were talking about, Jack, some of your injury troubles. Joe Marler just recently called for the Premiership to ban 4G pitches. It got a lot of support from current players. You retweeted it yourself on Twitter. Straight up, Jack, should they be banned?
100%. 100%. I hate them. I can't stand them. I'm in a position now where I can play on them. When I was younger, I struggled quite a bit with patella tendonitis pretty badly. I had that opt on eventually. So I'm kind of in a position where I'm strong enough to play on them. But they're just not nice. Whether you get through the game and you feel all right in the game, I always find then the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday sessions are horrendous. Like I feel like I can't run. I feel very, very sore. I feel a lot worse than what I normally would after a game. I don't know if it's you become robust to them and you're used to playing them. You'll probably be able to tell me a bit more about that.
My knees are fucked.
Yeah, well, there you go. I just don't.
Yeah,
if you put it next to like Bristol got a Deso pitch, haven't they as well? And we
follow the money, Jack. Follow the money.
Yeah. Well,
that's what it's about.
Well, our pitch wasn't very good. The last couple of seasons? I think that's because of COVID. You blame it on COVID like everyone else does. But I just think if you put a Deso pitch next to a 4G pitch, like the reason people pick 4G pitches, is because of getting use out of them, letting crowd walk on them, doing concerts, whatever. And I just that's not about the rugby. And I understand that the clubs have got to make money. It's been tough, but that's not about the rugby. And if you're putting players at risk for it, and I know there are people who come out and say there's studies where there's not actually a lot more risk on them. I think that's got to be complete rubbish, because there's no way that if you play on a Deso pitch or a grass pitch, compare it to a 4G pitch, and you're not getting more injuries on a 4G pitch. I think it's complete lies. So especially after what people are saying.
Have you heard about like the carcinogenic sort of stuff that comes off them though? That black crumb.
Oh, mate,
it's all like recycled tires.
Now.
It is ridiculous, mate.
Yeah, I know it. And then the heat hits it, and it's just in your wounds. You're swallowing it. It's probably going up. It expands in your blood. Oh my God, it's horrendous. If you read into it, you're like, yes, good. Just marinating in that for 80 minutes. Great times.
Mate, I live on it. I live on one.
Well, don't read the stuff about it. Yeah.
So wait, hang on, guys. Max, you've just basically told Ryan he's got cancer, but Jack, can you explain a little bit why they're so bad for kind of your regular non-rugby players?
I think it's all about obviously the cuts. I think everyone that doesn't like them likes to put a picture of their cuts on Instagram.
The razor burns,
yeah, and the cuts are brutal. There has been times where, it's crazy. You get boys getting skin grafts and stuff from it, and there's been times where boys haven't been able to train because their wounds are so badly opened and they're not healing, they're infected, and it's horrible. And you can promise, to your blue in the face of how good our artificial pitch is, you're not going to get cuts on it. No matter what they do, you're always going to get a cut on it unless it's grass. That's as simple as that. And that's just not that. That's just the cut side of it. You got obviously the shock of it running on it. I think load and stuff. We've had a lot of boys, ACLs and things like that because it's just obviously grass and Deso is a certain give. Like Deso pitches, for people that don't know, are actually is it 60-40, isn't it? 60%.
Yeah, something like that.
Or vice versa. So there is a bit in it because they do look good and they stay and they're kept better. But if you go full 4G, there's definitely something in it which doesn't help your bodies and even just the way you feel. Honestly, like I said, you can't train. Last time I did it, played one. I can't remember what it was, but I remember Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I felt like death. And it wasn't until Thursday, Friday, and we were playing on Friday night that I actually started feeling better again. So this year is going to be pretty interesting. I think we've got Glasgow, Worcester, Sarries, and Newcastle all within 4 or 5 weeks. So it's going to be a bit of a test for a few of our boys.
Ryan, from your perspective, obviously you play on a synthetic pitch and have done for a few years. Do you agree with Jack and Joe Marler as well?
I've got to be careful. But
you got to be very careful, mate.
what I would say is, I think a Deso pitch is a lot more expensive. If I'm right, I think that probably costs a hell of a lot more. So that's probably why people go for the cheaper option. If I had the choice, I'd play on Deso all day long. Even over grass, I'd have a Deso pitch all day long. Don't get as dirty. Right, so that's the one thing, and they're pristine. And with the weather in Glasgow, that's the main reason we ended up getting a fully synthetic pitch, is because it just rains all the time, and it just flooded and flooded and flooded. So they put this in. But if I had the choice, I'd go Deso or grass, because I thought. But I do believe you get more used to it. Like I've got used to it, so I'm used to playing on it. I train on it every single day. We don't train on the grass pitch; we train on that pitch every day. So.
Do you even if you're playing a? Because I don't know if Surrey still do it, or I know they certainly did do it. If they were playing a team that were on grass at the weekend, they would go and train on grass that week. And obviously, if they're playing at home, they would train on 4G. So would you always train on 4G even if you're playing on grass pitch at the weekend?
Yeah, most of the time just train on our 4G. We'd just scrum on grass, just because it's a completely different thing for forwards. But we'd just train on our 4G pitch. So, yeah, listen, if I had the choice, I'd go Deso or grass all day. But with the weather in Glasgow, honestly, some of the days, it's the worst thing is when the rubber crumb freezes. There's the heat. Honestly, there's the heat when pre-season. Oh, the blisters, man! Like the rubber crumb gets bloody boiling. You can see it like heating up. It's a nightmare. And then when it freezes, you're having a tough old night, especially a scrum, Max. You boys wouldn't go anywhere near it. Boys wearing like 22s on it. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
What's he doing?
Oh, that's the worst bit. You feel your sprigs just coming through your boots into your sesamoid bones, just desecrating your poor footsies. Oh, it's the worst.
Right, it's time for the second installment of Max's book club, where Max reads out a segment from a famous player's autobiography. And excited. Ryan and Jack, if you could try to guess whose autobiography he's reading from. Take it away, Max.
Every player's got a biography at the moment. It's going to be impossible, this.
I know. Okay. Tell me about it. Have you got one yet, Jack?
No way.
It's coming. It's coming.
It's not.
Never?
Never.
I would love to read your memoirs. Okay, here we go. Got your kit sorted. I looked up and saw the bent nose and the squashed eyebrow. It was Martin Johnson, England's best ever captain, booming down at me from a great height. Intimidating doesn't even begin to cover it. I watched him lifting the 2003 World Cup on telly when I was a fat 13-year-old. He was one of the most phenomenal players the country had ever seen. Now here he was, not just standing in front of me, but eyeballing me at the start of my first England training camp in February 2010. Yes, I squeaked. The kit man sorted me out. So you're good to go. Good to train, are you? I detected an edge to his voice. Yeah, I'm good to go. I was. I detected an edge in his voice. Yeah, I'm good to go. I was shifting my weight from one foot to the other and mumbling my words. It wasn't the impression I wanted to give to one of the rugby's hardest men. Well, he barked, you're going to have to get rid of the fucking stupid haircut before you do. I blushed. Did Martin Johnson really just say that? Was he serious? I was confused as well as shocked, because what did my haircut have to do with him? With rugby? He stalked off and glanced around awkwardly, wondering what to do next. I could only assume he was showing me he was the boss, stamping his authority on the new pup. Besides, how was I supposed to get rid of my haircut here? I nipped to the toilet before the training session started and caught a glimpse of myself in the mirror. It'll be fine, I thought. I'll just have to crack on and hope he doesn't mention it again. My Mohican was dyed the brightest red you could imagine. During the week, I had trimmed it into a very tight, neat stripe, so it looked like I had a giant scarlet-coloured caterpillar sleeping down the middle of my scalp. For a bit of extra pizzazz, I had stars and stripes saved around the sides of my head. It was an absolutely bloody brilliant haircut, the best I'd ever had. There was no way in the world I was getting rid of it, not even for Martin Johnson. I ran out onto the field. Fuck you. Wait, sorry. I ran out onto the field. Fuck you, Martin Johnson, I thought. You can't make me shave my head. My hair's got nothing to do with rugby. There it is, gentlemen. I think...
It's quite an obvious one, isn't it?
Very good.
I'm looking forward to the one where you have to put an accent on.
Well, yeah, when they give me some Antipodeans, I'll smash that. Yeah.
Jack, for the purposes of all of our listeners, who was that?
It could have started with someone like Hask at the start, but I think he was already bowled by then. So it's pretty. No,
it's just
pretty obvious, isn't it? Pretty obvious. That's a typical Marler haircut, that, isn't it? And I can imagine him
Absolutely.
going out.
Yeah, he'd be like, "Fuck you."
Yeah,
he wouldn't give a fuck.